Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. Happy Thursday. The week is getting closer to done. And today we have you guys another exciting 3-time structure. Now, we did Espa, we did Joey. I'm feeling like we got to talk about the king of games himself. And I need to apologize because this deck could have went two ways, but I kind of went thematically. So we will be playing the Dark Magician over spell counters today. And I know that that may not be as fun or as exciting, but I do promise it actually is. So the skill card will be flip this over when you activate this skill. The skill itself is Ultimate Wizardry. And this one's very interesting. So when you activate this, you get to place up to one spell counter on each face-up spellcaster monster that you currently control that can hold a spell counter on it. Additionally, once per turn during your main phase, you may place a spell counter on a face-up spellcaster monster that you control that you can place a spell counter on. This alone makes for a deck I'm going to be calling Breaker Breaks It, because Breaker gonna break everything when I start playing this. But this also means spell counters are like not even just like a strategy, but they are like one of the most legitimate strategies right now. Also, when you play this, do your opponent a favor. Get some dice, okay? They don't need to be the official Yugi dice. Get you some dice, because I'm promising you, it's going to get confusing after a minute. Get a handful of pocket change. Throw some pennies up on that, okay? Do something to track your counters. Trying to track this in your head is not going to work. I know. I used to be really good at this game. I used to go to like all the tournaments and stuff. We never played this one because of it. And even when we played other things like Samurai, we still had a pocket full of change. It was always advisable to go get like a couple rolls of pennies or go buy a big stack of dice before entering a tournament with a deck like that. Because you just can't do it off memory. Take my word for it. Okay. Now, moving into the deck. This one is going to be a little more annoying because during playtests while building it, it either worked or it didn't. It worked more often, so that's why we went with this. We are going to be running 3 breakers because, again, breaker's a thing. Breaker gains his spell counter on his normal summon, and he can only hold one at a time. And what he can do is you can remove one spell counter from this card, then target one spell trap on the field, destroy that target. You'll notice it doesn't say once per turn. So you'll break 1, you'll activate Ultimate Wizardry. He gets a counter. You'll break 2, you'll go, I'm going to use the once per turn effect of Ultimate Wizardry. You're going to go, he gets a counter. I'm going to break the last one. You can literally break an entire back row with just breaker. So this is really cool. This is really cool. Next up, for consistency issues, 3 copies of Buster Blader. Don't worry, you're never summoning him. Then 3 copies of Dark Magician, and it only makes sense to use Yugi's actual artwork for this. This is my favorite artwork, okay? This guy, you will be playing. And then last up, we are going to be using the skill Dark Magician. And honestly, this is the boy that we want to use with Ultimate Wizardry, because with 1 spell card and just activating this twice in the same round, the initial activate plus its activate equals an immediate Dark Magician. So like, skill Dark, definitely more the MVP. Plus, he maintains his 1900 instead of fluctuating down to 16. Now, that said, this is all good. So far, this is good. Next up, we're going to go to the spells. We're going to be using 2 copies, Destruction, Swordsman, Fusion. Now, real quick, I need you guys to be able to see this. So let me pick this up. Let me bring this up here. This looks really cool, right? Great artwork. Fusion, summon 1 fusion monster that lists Buster Blader as a material from the extra deck using cards from hand and either field as material. Okay? Think about that. Either field. If this is in the graveyard, you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. Each effect is once per turn. So it is recyclable. We don't need it to be, but it can be, which is good. What we want to do here is we want to note the quick play status of this spell card. Okay, what that means is Dark Magician attacks. It's still my turn. Quick plays can be activated from my hand on my own turn. I can do this with my Buster Blader in hand. I can make my Dark Paladin. I can attack again. It's a new monster during the battle phase that is going to be like a really slick move. Additionally, as far as this tournament is concerned, you will notice it said I can use materials from my hand or either side of the field. So against Arcana, this card gains a little more oomph, power, importance. Yeah, you pick the word. It gets better because you don't have to use your own Dark Magician, which means you can double up. You can use skill Dark into your own Dark Magician, use your opponent's Dark Magician, offboard their monster, take the Buster Blader from your hand, go into this, and still be able to summon something like a breaker or something. Like you can create a huge explosive field, and this deck can do it. Next up, we're going to be using things like Mage Power. When equipped, the equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense per spell trap you control. Face down still counts as control. So you can just set things to set them, which would be fine. We're using 2 copies of Spell Power Grasp. Again, this is mostly to help the skilled Dark Magician because this is essentially ultimate wizardry. Because when we activate a spell card, skilled Dark gains a spell counter. Additionally, we can, when this is activated, target a face-up card on the field that can hold spell counters and give it 1. Then you can add another copy of this from deck to hand, and you can only activate 1 of these per turn. So I didn't want a brick. I didn't want to have 3. This is just a good way. This is like 2. This is 2 right here. That's 4 spell counters in 1 turn. It's crazy. I didn't feel like you needed a third. If you need a third card, and this could be changed out, I went with the Pitch Black Power Stone. Kind of give your opponent something to maybe target outside of the Mage Power. Because, again, the opponent will be thinking things. And if not, once per turn, you can move one of the 3 spell counters this trap card holds when it's played. So it's going to create extra power up for the Mage Power, while also helping further skills like the skill Dark Magician or allowing Breaker to do multiple destructions in a round. So again, very cool stuff. And then you might as well play the full extra deck of 3 Paladins. Could you play all 3? Technically, yes. The spell is recyclable. Remember that. So in a prolonged speed duel, somehow you could, in fact, manipulate it to get all 3. Again, must be fusion summoned. When a spell card is activated as a quick effect, discard a card, negate, and destroy. This card must be face up on the field to activate and resolve effect. So if it were to go down afterward, like let's say they played a spell card, let's go with whatever it was, End of Witches, Exile of Witches, whatever it was. They go ahead, they activate that. You go to cancel it. You use your last card in hand. If they respond with Book of Moon, and I do believe the timing is going to be fine because they're both spell speed 2 effects, then this guy will go face down, which means that while he won't be a face-up spellcaster to get destroyed by Exile of the Wicked, which I actually think is the, maybe it's Last Day of Witch. I'm not sure. We'll see it in a second, I'm sure. But if he's no longer face-up, then whatever he negated or attempted to negate will actually process and go through. Additionally, this card does gain 500 attack for every dragon on fields and or graveyards. So, cool. And side deck options. Because again, I don't know why I don't put these on my side of the table. I put them on the opposite side. This one's actually got quite a few. Like we could put in like a couple of Apprentice Magicians. You could put in a Mage of Faith and an Old Vindictive. You guys could put in a Skilled White if you guys want to play the Buster Blader. At which point, what I would do is I'd probably take out like maybe 2 of the Buster Bladers or 1 of the Buster Bladers and something else, maybe a Pitch Black Power Stone. And I would go ahead and I'd get that moving. This way you can also go ahead and play the Buster Blader to the field. He is 100 points stronger than the Dark Magician, so that may be a good idea. Malice Dispersion might be good. Solitary Sword of Poison is actually very good in this deck. Makes it very hard to come up on. Additionally, you have the Miracle Restoring. So again, this would allow you to special summon Buster Blader or Magician from the graveyard. Not as applicable in this form right now, since this is more of a casual build. But you guys are smart and wonderful, and I'm sure you guys have your own twists on this. This one just happens to be mine. So, I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, consider supporting the channel with a like, a comment, and a subscription. And maybe you want to help us get more cards and sleeves. As always, I'll have the buy me a coffee link in the description below. I meant to say leave the link. Don't leave me, please. But additionally, guys, just enjoy the rest of today. It's almost the weekend. We got another deck for tomorrow, and then we are going to swap gears a little bit, do some spotlight activity, because again, there's so many cool cards to spotlight. We need to get busy with it. And yeah, I just hope that you guys enjoy. So until next time, see you later.